Today on Locked On Red Wings, it was the 42nd anniversary of the Miracle on Ice. What's the Red Wings Miracle on Ice? And also, it's Tuesday, or it was Tuesday. Who are the best pairs of players in Detroit Red Wings history? And then capping it off by previewing the Colorado Avalanche.
You're Locked On Red Wings, your daily podcast on the Detroit Red Wings. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome back to the Locked On Red Wings podcast. We are your hosts, Brian Fisher and Scotty Bentley. Scotty looking fly over there. He's also the host of Locked On Tigers. Thanks for making us your first listen every single day. We are free and available on all platforms, including YouTube. And Scotty, today we're recording this on Tuesday evening, and Tuesday was one heck of a day. It was the anniversary of the Miracle on Ice, the 42nd anniversary, and it was also Tuesday, in which
spelled
it was
just like that with all the U's and O's. Tuesday.
It was Tuesday, February 22nd, 2022. And we're going to have a little bit of fun with that. A lot of the Locked On shows have been having fun with that today. And we're gonna ride on that too. And in fact, we're going to start with that. In regards to the Tuesday, Scotty, we're going to do the best Red Wings pairings of players in Red Wings history.
Best duos
in Red Wings history. That can be forward, that can be defense, that can be goaltending. And Scotty, do you want to start on this? What is your duo?
Man. So I don't know about best necessarily, but the duo that always comes to mind for me when I think of like a true duo, like when I think of that, a pair, my brain always just goes to the goalie run in 08. And that's just instantly where my brain always goes. There's so many stories about that, Hasek coming back and Ozzy and the two of them in the regular season and then the two of them in the postseason. And like I said, all the stories that have come up about the situation that the two of them were in and all that. That is like I said, definitely, honestly, won't be the most talented duo we list, and that's not a slight on them at all. That's the greatest goalie of all time, in my opinion, and should be Hall of Famer. But when you're talking about the Red Wings, it's just so much talent. But that when it comes to a true duo, that's just where my brain always goes, man. That is one of the more iconic kind of displays of a pair in Red Wings history.
Yeah, I mean, that tandem was absolutely insane that year. Dominik Hasek and Chris Osgood split the workload evenly throughout that season. 43 went to Chris Osgood, 41 went to Dominik Hasek. Hasek at 43 years old had a save percentage of .902 and Chris Osgood at 35. So neither of them are spring chickens at that point. Had a .914 save percentage. Hasek started the playoffs. Chris Osgood ended up becoming the hotter hand and finishing it for the Red Wings, clinching their fourth Stanley Cup in what we consider as the Red Wings dynasty. 4 Stanley Cups in less than 20 years. That was a very iconic duo of the latter half of that dynasty. There are just so many duos throughout the years of the Detroit Red Wings that it's going to be hard to name all of them here in just this first segment alone.
So many. Well, I mean, Nick Lidstrom with fill in the blank is like a really good duo.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's like Nick Lidstrom with Nick Kronwall. It was a good pairing.
Absolutely.
And the advanced metrics don't necessarily, agree with that. The expected goals for percentages. That's my new hot thing that I love.
Corsi's gone. We're in a new era.
They were fun to watch from the standpoint that, Kronwall could take risks and make huge hits, knowing that Nick Lidstrom was there to back him up. That duo was exciting to watch because it was a little bit of Beauty and the Beast. Nick Cronwell was the
perfect
beast,
way to describe it. Absolutely.
and Lidstrom was the beauty on the back end. They complemented each other's styles very well, and that one could take risks while the other one was arguably the best defenseman of all time.
Not arguably. Not arguably.
Yeah, honestly, just the best. In my opinion, was the best.
Yeah.
But the pair with Lidstrom that really stands out is Brian Rafalski. I think that might be the most electric defensive duo this team has ever seen. They played, and I have it up for you here, they played over 200 games together. It was 224 games together, racking up 3,924 minutes. And in that span, their Corsi 4 percentage, expected Corsi 4 percentage, that was relative, was a goal and a half a game. The expected goals for percentage across 224
that's
games
unreal.
Was a goal and a half. They were a positive impact for over 3 seasons together as a defensive pair. They were just so absolutely incredible. Their expected goals for percentage, not talking about relative, was submit form. Come up here. It was 69.7, which is 19% above where you want the expected goal for percentage to be. 50% is the average. They were at 69.7%.
I mean,
that's how effective they were.
When we talk about that stat, if we have somebody in the mid 50s, we're like, hell yeah. You know what I mean? We're like, that's incredible. These dudes were they were pushing 70. I feel like, what are we talking about?
Anytime
mythical
player is like above 50%, you're like, this is a killer pair. This is this is an amazing player. 69% as a pair for over 200 games is absolutely asinine, and how deadly they were as a defensive pair. Incredible.
Absolutely ridiculous. And like I said, like, it's hard to grasp just how incredible that number is. Like, that's a unicorn. That's not real.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
And that was just, and I think the Red Wings fan base really respects, Brian Rafalski, as they should.
Yes.
But I think outside of, the Red Wings, he doesn't get as much love as he should. And the fact that, Nick Lidstrom being the best defenseman of all the time is one thing, but Lidstrom played with a lot of different defensemen over the years. We were talking about it before we started recording. He played with Chelios. Chelios forced him to the right side. The advanced metrics prove they were not a positive impact on the ice. That's two of the best defensemen that have ever played the game on a pair together, and they just weren't effective together. A lot of it has to do with chemistry, and Brian Rafalski and Nick Lidstrom had incredible chemistry for over 200 games together. Iconic duo.
It's unreal, man. Definitely an iconic duo.
What else you got for me?
I think so. Like, Steve and Sergey is like one, but we kind of talked about how they're, when it comes to like it's hard to define a duo, right? Because they weren't necessarily, they did play together, they did share ice time together, but they weren't necessarily always on the ice together or sharing ice time and sharing lines together all the time. It's just when you think of that team, that was like those were the dudes. Like,
that was the face.
Those were the faces. So a duo, again, I guess my view of duo is much more just, okay, when you think of a certain team or a certain era or a certain position group, whatever, what are the two names that immediately pop into your head? And those two were the faces. Like, ain't nobody forget that. So even though their ice time and stuff might not have been,
they might not have shared the same ice all the time.
Right. Not necessarily setting each other up all the time and all that. When it comes to duos on that team, Steve and Sergey were definitely that.
Well, and the same argument can be made for Henrik Zetterberg and Pavel Datsyuk.
Absolutely.
The Euro twins. I mean, they shared a significant amount of ice time together, and they were electric together. But especially in the later years when the team started to fall apart, Mike Babcock would split them up, put them on separate lines because they were just as good apart as they were together. And so there, and I even had a Euro Twins T-shirt growing up. They were an iconic duo, but they weren't necessarily a duo that played together all the time. When you focus on pairs that did play together, another great one was Fetisov and Konstantinov, two parts of the Russian Five. In the 90s, especially in 90, 95, 96, 97, that pairing was unstoppable. Konstantinov laying out big hits left and right, and you had Fetisov on the other side, kind of like a Kronwall Lidstrom situation, making sure everything stayed safe on the back end. Konstantinov was on pace to be a Hockey Hall of Famer before that tragic accident.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Incredible talent. And yes, 100%.
And I think the last one to really mention off the top of my head was Gordie Howe with either member of the production line.
Yeah.
Ted Lindsay or Sid Abel.
The whole product, that's not really a duo, but
it's
that
not
whole
a duo.
line is you can't have this conversation without bringing some pair of those three up for sure. What else can I bring up, Brian?
You can definitely bring up not BetOnline. Darn it!
Come on!
This is what happens when I don't have the read pulled up.
Come on.
Today's episode is brought to you by Built Bar. It's that time of the year that you've all pretty much given up on your New Year's resolutions. We know you have, or have you? Because this year you're sticking to it. You're sticking to that resolution, eat right, thanks to Built Bar. It almost feels like it's not really a resolution because you actually are going to enjoy eating them. You got to try the Puffs. If you haven't, you're missing out on one of the best tasting options. Puffs are the first ever protein-infused marshmallow. They're fluffy. They're marshmallowy. They're not just a protein bar. They're a treat. And they're covered in 100% chocolate. Puffs are a fan favorite with some incredible flavors. Yummy. Yummy. Churro, coconut, marshmallow, banana cream pie. Just so good. These are going to be your new favorite. Go to Built.com and scroll to the macros chart. You'll be blown away. High protein, low cal, high fiber, low carb. Most Built bars contain 130 calories, 4 grams of sugar, 4 net carbs, and 17 grams of protein. Compare that to a candy bar, which normally has around 240 calories, 30 grams of sugar, and dozens of net carbs. At Built.com, they're all about the taste. They make it taste delicious first and figure out how to make it healthy. And I don't know how, but they pull it off every single time. So go to Built.com, use promo code LOCKED15, and get 15% off your order. Use promo code LOCKED15 for 15% off at Built.com. All right, Scotty. Segment 2 here on this
Wednesday
like my shades?
Edition.
I do. I really do like your sunglasses.
We were literally just chilling before recording. I was like, as a complete joke, I was like, I got my sunglasses here. I'm just going to wear these. But Brian
I took
was
it completely serious.
Brian, I guess, if you know me,
I was like, okay.
Sure. Yeah, so Brian was like, yeah, you should do it, man. I was like, I was kidding, but like, I will. He's like, yeah, why
your
not?
Personality, Scotty.
Man, shades on. That's what got me started. That was my brand.
Oh, that's right.
That's the origin. That's
your brand's
the
kind of devolved.
Days. The OG days. Man, I don't know about devolved. I think I've taken a little bit of a step up from videos and at nighttime with sunglasses on to a couple of shows a week. But
and now you're a writer.
I'm also a writer.
Yeah, but are you your beer league team's player of the game?
That I am not, but somebody I know is.
No, co-player.
Don't be humble now. Don't be humble now.
I mean, I'm the one who brought it up. Is that really humble to begin with?
Don't be humble now.
Anyways, our second topic today, it's the 42nd anniversary, or it was on Tuesday, of the Miracle on Ice, where the United States underdogs beat the Soviet Union to head to the gold medal game in the 1980
you like that
Olympics.
Movie?
Yeah, I actually saw it pre-screened before it actually came out because when I was growing up.
How old were you?
Like 8, maybe 9. It was in mid 2000s. I think.
I was going to say because I don't think I remember it like coming out. I was probably like 5 or 6.
Well, I can only tell you how many times the locker room speech was ironically recited by my teammate before every single game.
Fire me up.
Playing youth.
Fire me up, baby. We used to We used to in high school, man. We used to try to memorize that too. Absolutely.
Crazy. So my question for you, Scotty, and for you, the listener. In fact, listeners, you want to comment on our YouTube page, your Red Wings iconic duos, or your Red Wings miracle on ice moments. Go ahead and do that on our YouTube page. Hit that subscribe button while you're there. Just very casually dropping that in there. But Scotty, what would you say is the Detroit Red Wings miracle on ice? And we can just dole out a couple different options that we are juggling around in our head.
For sure. I think I'm as I've been thinking of more as we decided that we wanted to do this, and I'm trying to think of more and more scenarios. I can't think of anything that tops the first ring in the 90s. That I think was at 96, 97. I think that is I can't think of anything that tops that one, right? Like the Yzerman finally gets over the hump that everyone said that he couldn't get over, the big, one of the most storied franchises there was already before the big run. We had started making the playoffs and couldn't get through the final push. The grind line teams were at that point in time debated as the best team ever and with the best players ever at the time, outside, I guess Gretzky had been around by then, but just finally it's hard to top that one, man. And the call is so great, they're finally, city. Now it's hard for me to top that one. Now I will say the Avs fight is up there.
Yeah, I don't know if I could qualify that as a miracle on ice, but in terms of hype,
the opposite of a miracle, I would say. Yeah,
in terms of
the opposite
hype,
of a miracle,
definitely
is.
equal
For sure.
I think in the truest definition of a miracle on ice, in which something unexpected happened and took place, I think my number one has got to be actually the 1995 Yzerman double OT winner against the St. Louis Blues, because you have that wonderful call from Gary Thorne, who the Locked On Red Wings actually interviewed back when Nolan was still host.
Damn right.
Always go back and listen to that because it was a fantastic interview.
So fun.
You were there for that one.
Yeah, I got to ask him about what it was like to announce. He announced the bowling match where the dude said, "Who do you think you are? I am." And I got to ask him about it. Yeah, crazy.
Yeah, but that call and that goal by Yzerman to send the Red Wings to the Stanley Cup final in 1995, where they did ultimately fall, which further stigmatized the Red Wings, which further built up the hype for that 1997 win, was just electric because Gretzky had it, lost it. You're playing against the St. Louis Blues with the best player to have ever played the game. Granted, over the hill at that point, but still, you pick the puck up off his stick, you cross the blue line, and you let it rip to send your team to the Stanley Cup final. That, in terms of what the Miracle on Ice represented for Team USA, I think that goal really showed that the Red Wings are for real. That was the true start, in my opinion, to that Red Wings dynasty, even though it took them a couple more years to win it.
For sure. I mean, yeah, pure miracle. I mean, that's as good as it gets, right?
Yeah.
So I completely agree with that. I was so ridiculous. I just, with everything surrounding, not that I guess to your point, not that it was some huge miracle like the Wings were a bad team or anything, but there was such a stigma, and then
Absolutely.
And then the cap came off, man, and then it was just floodgates, and then we didn't lose for forever. You know what I mean? That was it's just, when it comes to on ice, you think, when I think of the miracle on ice, and I think of, do you believe in miracles? Yes. And I think of the moment on the ice where all the players are freaking out and the fans' reaction and everything. That is the closest single moment in Red Wings history to that moment. It just has to be. It has to be the 96-97 Cup. It has to be. Finally, just getting the monkey off the back. It really does. Like that is the closest that the Red Wings have ever come to exactly replicating what the Miracle on Ice was. So I guess you were looking at what play is the most similar to a miracle, and I'm looking at in the moment that game. What's the closest that the Red Wings ever came to replicating that? And in my eyes, no really contest even. It has to be that Cup.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, definitely not disagreeing with you on that one. And there's even another one too. Ridiculous. There's even another one too that happened the year succeeding that. The second half of that back-to-back championship, 1998, because of what that meant to the organization itself. After that tragedy that happened with Konstantinov and the rest of the people in that limo, that Stanley Cup was more so for Konstantinov and the Red Wings themselves than it was for the fan base that year. And I won't say in terms of like 95 double OT winner and the 97 Stanley Cup championship, the finally end of the drought. 98 one definitely slots a position below that. But to win that Stanley Cup again and to be able to hand that puck off that Stanley Cup off to Vladimir Konstantinov in the wheelchair meant so much to those players who had gone through so much, none more than obviously Konstantinov himself, who still is dealing with the repercussions of that accident. I mean, that was, you got tears in your eyes from the 97 just from sheer joy, but this one was a very bittersweet Stanley Cup.
Yeah, when it comes to pure emotion, right? If you're talking about one specific moment in all of Red Wings history that induced and inflicted the most emotion, that is comfortably, not even close. Handing him the Stanley Cup is number one, and there's miles between whatever you have at number two, for sure.
Yeah, and if you guys want to feel some real, genuine emotion, you need to start betting with BetOnline.net. Football season might be over, but hockey is in full steam for both pro and college hockey. From all the latest odds, totals, player props, to where the next head coach is going to land, BetOnline.net is the number one spot for all your sports betting needs. BetOnline remains the best spot for all your sports scores, podcasts, and news this season. And it's not just hockey. BetOnline.net is your source for basketball, boxing, UFC odds, right to the Olympic coverage and information. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more about the trends and action.
BetOnline,
where the game starts. Also got to talk to you guys where the game starts. Also got to talk to you guys today about RockAuto.com. With the ever-increasing numbers of makes and models, it's now impossible for your local chain auto parts store to stock all the parts you will ever need. Why endure often pointless or seemingly intimidating questioning and wait while the person behind the counter orders the parts on their computer, choosing the only brand their warehouse happens to carry? You have computers with access to RockAuto.com at your home and in your pocket. Save time and money when using Rock Auto. Why choose to spend 30, 50, and even 100% more for the same parts from a chain auto store or dealership? Rock Auto is a family business serving do-it-yourselfers for over 20 years. So go explore their easy-to-use website today and find the solution to your auto parts needs. Go to rockauto.com right now and see all the parts available for your car or truck right locked on in their How Did You Hear About Us box so they know we sent you. Amazing selection, reliably low prices, all the parts you will ever need. rockauto.com. I take a breath after that. All right. Red Wings, Scotty, are finally back in action.
Finally. My goodness.
Back in action. After
6
whole days off, they play the first place in the Central Division, Colorado Avalanche, who are very scary. Very, very scary. Very, very talented team. And apparently it's okay to assault refs if your name is Nathan MacKinnon too. I don't know if you saw that.
I saw it.
Slashed a linesman and got away with it.
Yeah. I don't know how
also,
you get away with that. Like you slashed the dude that makes the calls. I don't know how that's like a get away with it moment.
They decided that there was no intent. I'm like, what?
It's like, dog, you're the one that got clapped. Like, what are we doing? What are we talking about? Ridiculous.
You want me to tell you something that's going to make it worse?
No, not
Dylan-
really. What kind of
Dylan
question is
Larkin.
that?
Dylan Larkin is day-to-day.
Oh, great. With what?
He left practice early on Tuesday with an undisclosed injury. Yeah, it's unclear whether or not he's going to play tonight. So, not a great start to this preview.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. No, yeah, we got to go up against one of the most talented rosters in the entire NHL, and now our best player might not play. That's so cool. Super happy about that.
Yeah, not so great. But silver linings. We're always looking for silver linings, and Red Wings are going to win regardless because it's at LCA. You are getting Carter Rowney back. It's likely they'll call Veleno back up after a short stint in Grand Rapids.
Yep.
And you're also most likely get Vlad Nemesnikov back. So you're getting a lot of your forward depth back, which is going to help solidify that back end. And hopefully, nothing's going to replace if Larkin can't play. But at least your third and fourth line are going to be a lot more solid with Rowney and Nemesnikov and Veleno back in the lineup than they would be if you were missing Larkin and those guys.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I guess it softens the blow, but what are we talking about? It's
Right.
Dylan Larkin doesn't play. We're in a heap of trouble regardless of who comes back.
Well, and a big reason for that is the Colorado Avalanche are just absolutely disgusting. Like, it's not even fair, dude. Nazem Kadri,
their offense is unbelievable.
Just their defense is unbelievable. Cale Makar
Their defense is unbelievable. Their goaltending, that's where we expose them.
Maybe not. It's gonna be tough. They're really
they're great at everything, dog. I'm just I'm pretty sure they're in the top 10 in every single team statistical category.
Yeah, Nazem Kadri's got 63 points in 47 games to lead the team. Mikko Rantanen is right behind him with 59 points in 47 games. Cale Makar, a defenseman, is over a point per game with 51 points in 46 games. Captain Landeskog, 49 points in 42 games. Nathan MacKinnon, 48 points in 36 games. That is, they literally have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 players who are over a point per game on this roster right now, and that's not even counting the guys who are close to a point per game.
They average, as a team, they're spot on at 4 goals a game.
That's disgusting.
Yeah.
Their goaltending, Darcy Kemper has been their starter all season long in 36 games played. He's got a .919 save percentage.
Not bad.
It looked pretty good. His goals against per game is 2.5. So they are up and down that roster.
They are second in goals scored a game, 14th in goals against the game, second in goal differential, 10th in power play percentage, 21st in penalty kill percentage. Good thing we don't have a very good power play. 24th in PIMS, 9th in save percentage, 29th in face-off percentage. That's where we win. That's where we
don't
win.
have Glendening anymore.
Yeah, we're still what? We're still 12th in the NHL in face-off percentage.
Well, it's because Dylan Larkin's pretty damn good at winning face-offs.
Yes, that's where we attack. That's where we attack. We just win a lot of face-offs. Control the puck. There you go. Bingo, bango. Red Wings in 4.
Bang. And they're a completely healthy team too. I looked it up, and they don't have any injuries. They're not missing anyone. You can't forget your defensemen who are defensive defensemen on this team either. Bowen Byram has a Corsi for percentage of 56.6% with a relative of 6.5. So when he's on the ice, he's creating 6.5 more shots for the team than when he's off the ice. I mean, it's disgusting how good this team is. Devin Tays, who's almost at a point per game as well as another defenseman on this team, 56.6 Corsi for percentage with a 4.1 relative. I mean, everyone on this team is producing, and even their defensemen are scoring goals and getting points. Here's the question. What is your X factor in this one, Scotty?
I mean, it kind of has to be Larkin at this point, right? Now that he might not play, I feel like that's a pretty obvious one, but I feel like it's probably Larks. I mean, no Dylan Larkin, probably not going to go too well as a team. With Dylan Larkin there, Still a really good chance that it doesn't go too well, but a lot less of a chance. So,
You know what?
I'm going to take the easy route and go with Larks.
The Colorado Avalanche, and I know we're being kind of down on the Red Wings, but the Colorado Avalanche are one of, if not the best team in the NHL. They're right up there with the teams like Tampa Bay Lightning for just absolute powerhouse wagon teams. And you're the Detroit Red Wings. You're a game above 500. You've taken a tremendous step this year, but this is an intimidating opponent. Not saying it can't be won, which leads me to my X factor. You said Dylan Larkin, so obviously that's the number one. He's got to play. Little Caesars Arena is going to be my X factor. This is going to be a game that's going to draw a huge crowd, especially against a classic rivalry that only comes to town once a year. You get a big crowd, you get that barn rocking. I think Little Caesars Arena can be the X factor that sways this team, gets the momentum under the Red Wings, because we've seen them play up to opponents in the past. If we can get Little Caesars Arena packed, we can get Little Caesars Arena bumping. I think you can help energize the players to step up and challenge this team, because we know that the Red Wings are capable of beating really good hockey teams. They've done it before. We've said it a million times. They've beaten teams like Edmonton. They've beaten teams like Vegas. They've beaten teams like Boston. I mean, they are capable of winning big games. This is maybe the biggest game on home ice this season against the Colorado Avalanche. You only see them once a year, and they are a powerhouse.
And for how everybody in the locker room's talking about trying to make a playoff push,
this is where you got to prove it.
You really can't afford to drop too many games, period, the rest of the year. And these are the kind of games you got to win for sure.
Well, that's the thing we were talking about as well, is this team wants to be a playoff contender. To be a true, legitimate playoff contender, you got to be good teams. And Colorado is no exception. You look at Colorado, you read off their stats, they're intimidating. You got to go out there and find a way to win regardless. That's the bottom line. That's what playoff teams do.
Underlined, period at the end, bolded, italicized.
We in agreement that goaltender is going to be Alexander Nedeljkovic more than likely?
Yeah, I'd be shocked if it wasn't at this point. Yeah.
Probably about a week and a half off now.
Yeah, he's had almost 10 days off, or maybe 10 days off. Yeah, he's had a long time off. I don't think, even though Greiser was obviously great against New York and stuff, I don't think you ride a hot hand with when you have a week off in between games. So I think they just go back to Ned.
Absolutely fair. Thanks for making Locked On Red Wings your first listen every day. Now make your second listen Locked On Fantasy Hockey. Locked On Fantasy Hockey hosts Steele Roden and Flip Livingstone. Still can't get over those names. Those
great names
are amazing. They help you become the expert of your fantasy hockey league. It's free and available wherever you get your platforms. Platforms. Oh, my God. I killed it all the way up into the last word, Scotty. Podcasts. Wherever you get your podcasts. Oh, after such a great show. Just ending it on that note. Scotty, any final thoughts?
We ball, baby.
Oh, God. You know we ball. We absolutely dynamic threats, honestly.
Dynamic threats. Hashtag dynamic threats.
We'll be back with a post-game recap tomorrow. Same time, same place. See your team every day.
Every day.